Yeah,
We have 3 minutes. Okay, I'll take it very fast. It's time. Yeah. So I will answer this one, and then we end the discussion section. So, I think positive feedback is really important. Like you give them, like it will create what is it? Extrinsic motivation. And so, but sometimes we can use, we don't say it correct, like negative feedback is like corrective feedback. Like you see the mistake and you tell them, well, implicitly, like, oh, this is not right. So you can suggest some recommendations for them to be better. Like you not always give up the positive, like you create some kind of hallucination of their studying. Oh, I'm doing good, I'm great, but also give them, balance between these two and give them constructive feedbacks as well or correction. Okay, that's my response to this.
yeah. So Miss Đỗ Thị Mỹ Linh, yeah, is Miss Linh Vũ with the answer okay?
All right, thank you for your question, and now I think it's time for Miss Nga, right?
So thank you, Blackpink. Thank you for your very interesting, interactive discussion with your friends, right? You have a lot of questions, and you address the questions, and you also have contribution from other friends as well, from high school teacher, from kindergarten teachers, from young learners, teachers, right? So we have contribution of your friends also. May I have a review of the discussion, Quỳnh Như?
Yes, I'm here.
What did they talk about? The discussion this morning. What special thing to you? What you remember?
So the discussions is about the motivation of the student in the classroom, and there are some questions that I can. There are some questions and suggestions that I can apply in my classroom.
Yes.
For example, Miss Lin has suggested that when we work, when we divide group is online class, we can set the rule before we separate them into different groups, and the teacher can randomly join in the group to see how the student discuss, how they work, and exchange the idea in group. And Mr. Yui has some suggestion that we can measure the motivation of a student. Like we can use some assessment like questionnaire or self-assessment. We can use some online apps, or teacher can guide some strategies in learning for their students. And there are some sharing from Mr. Thủy about the motivations. That is the difficult for the teacher to help the Vietnamese learner of the English cognitive or motivation dimensions. And so this is what I have remembered.
Okay, thank you. Quỳnh Như, can you choose the friends to continue with the review section? Review of the discussion, right?
Yeah, I'm really good today. Yeah,
Someone
thank
that you
you.
haven't heard from him or her?
Yes, okay. So Miss Ngân, please.
Yes, I'm here.
Can you tell her about the requirement, Quỳnh Như?
So, could you tell us about the discussion this morning?
Sorry, I don't get it. You mean I need to summarize our discussion this morning, right?
Yes.
Actually, I have just get back. So I believe I could miss some parts, but according to my memory, I remember. Firstly, Mr. Yui gave us some definitions from key authors about motivation, and next we discussed um, online and offline motivation, and also uh, the presentation group gave us presentation like said the goal from the beginning of the lesson, and Mr. Yi added we can employ pair work or group work, and Miss Yim suggested we can for offline motivation we can integrate some technology, and that's all.
Okay,
That's what
thank you,
I
Ngân,
remember.
for your good memory, right?
Thank you.
So here, that's the way to ask the student to stay focused on online learning. Is that right? That you have questions before the discussion and you have questions after the discussion. You can have any questions before the discussion so that you have a good discussion. And after the discussion, we have to raise questions as well. So, Ngân, can you ask a question related to the discussion? Any question? And you can ask the friends here, the friends that you haven't heard from them.
Okay, so I would like
Yeah, one
to
question from you. You can ask the friend here.
Miss Đỗ Thị Mỹ Linh.
Yes.
Can you share your your way to motivate your students in offline classroom from your experience? Yes.
So, okay, thank you. Thank you, the Blackpink, for your presentation and your time discussion with your friends here. Thank you, the class participations. You're going to take a 5 minutes break, right? So be back here at 9:15. So you have 5 minutes break. Right. Breakfast, right?
Yeah,
So you plan to have anything for lunch, Hugh?
actually, I have prepared something, and when I finish the class, I'm gonna cook it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I just took out from the fridge.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
So you have used your time very productively, right?
yeah.
So hello everyone. You have very good discussion this morning, and we continue a little bit about motivation, and then we need to share some information about classroom management, how we manage our students, right? How we know whether they are eating or learning. So you can check. So can you turn on your camera so I know that you're not sleeping at the moment? So someone sleeping. We have two Trung Hiếu here. So everyone, we have Tô Thanh Thanh. What are you doing, Thanh?
Yes, I'm listening to you.
Okay. So what's one interesting point you got from your friends this morning, Thanh?
Yes, it's about motivation in online learning.
One interesting point to you, yeah, not in the general information.
Yes, it's about the extrinsic and intrinsic motivation. Yes, and how to raise and increase the motivation in online learning.
Okay. So thank you. Everyone turn your camera on and I can take a picture for the last session of this course. Is that right? Ngân Minh Trang or something?
We're
Yeah,
using computer, not laptop.
okay. PC, right? Lee,
Yes.
where are you? Really?
Yes, I'm sorry because I'm in the countryside. I'm not at home. So yes, I'm wearing my mask because I'm not at home. Outside.
So you are in a coffee shop, right?
No, I'm at the countryside. My friend's hometown.
Okay.
She's in the quarantine zone.
You travel.
Yes, I'm traveling. Yeah,
Okay.
but because I want to be safe, so I wearing my mask.
Okay. So that means you do not focus on your study. You enjoy time traveling.
No, I'm here. Yes, I'm here listening to you because I don't want to skip the lesson. So yes, I find a table and I sit here and enjoy the lesson.
Okay, thank you. So you can put your hand down, and
Yes,
we can
okay.
start our section. Thank you for your faces, happy faces, right? So in the presentation, you listen to intrinsic motivation, you listen to extrinsic motivations, and you also share some information related to how you motivate your student. So please tell with me, how were you motivated? You, as a learner, how were you motivated by your teachers? How were you motivated by your teacher? Su Boy?
As a
Are
student,
you Su Boy?
No.
But when
I'm
I
pretty
call
sure
Su
she
Boy
is.
and
I'm
you
pretty
raise
sure
your
you are.
voice, are you Su Boy?
No.
No. Okay.
I'm pretty sure you are,
You can
Tam.
share.
So as a learner, I was motivated by my teachers. As when they give me a lesson with clear instruction,
Yeah, clear instruction.
and the revision for the end at the end of the lesson, so that I can memorize all the things that I have learned on that day.
Yeah. So you have you would like to have a structure, well-structured lesson. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, well-structured lesson. So you feel motivated when you can study with a well-structured lesson. You can be motivated from the beginning until the end of the lesson. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Very good. So how about you, Mingo?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
All right. So sorry, I cannot turn on the camera because the camera is broken. Actually, I think that I was motivated by most of the teachers I have learned. But actually, if you want to be motivated, you need to know exactly what is the purpose of the course you are attending. So once you can realize your motivation, like the outcome that you want to achieve, so of course, when you learn and the teachers deliver you the useful lessons, you are motivated already.
Yes. So thank you for your answer. So we continue with Phương Duyên.
Yeah, yes, I'm here. Can you hear me clearly?
So can you say it a little bit louder, Duyên? Could not hear you clearly.
Oh,
Yes, it's
what
better.
about now? Yeah, thank you. I think what motivate me while learning in this course is that I can learn from both the lecturer and from my friends' experience. Yeah, to hear the experience, what they are sharing about their experience in teaching and learning. That is
Yes.
my motivation.
So that means you were motivated because of the information in the course. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes. So here, that's you as a learner. You were motivated with well-structured lesson, information from sharing. So how about you as a teacher? So how are you going to conduct your lesson? Whether you have a well-structured lesson or whether you have good information for your student or new information for your student. That think about us, and then we can have some ways to motivate our student. Is that right? Bring something new every lesson to your student, something new, something creative to your student, and make them creative. So that means you must have something new to your student. The student, they like new things. Do you like new things? Yes or no? So do you think that your student like new things?
Yes, yes, okay. We
Yes.
enjoy new things. But
Yeah,
it's hard to say because sometimes we say that okay, today we'll try some new thing, but anyway, we cannot find anything that's so new for
No.
our
You have
students.
to think about that before class time. Bring one new thing to your student. So that can be information, that can be new way of grouping your student, new way of asking question on anything, right? New way of checking your student understanding. For example, that we have one new thing for your student. So every time you come to class, so do not repeat your class routine. For example, today you can start by asking questions, and next time you can start your lesson by telling your student a story. On the time after next time, you can start your lesson by checking their memory. So that means you have to bring one new thing to your class. So that's the way we motivate our students, because all of us, we like interesting things, we like new things. So bring new things to your student. So Minh, what's the new thing you want to share with us?
Yes, I'm trying to apply what you say into my classroom. However, I encounter this problem like whenever I try to bring a new activity, like especially the interactive ones, like a role play or Kahoot or a quiz. I kind of run into a short in class in the schedule time, and I tend to
Yes,
become
that's
short
right.
in schedule time because my students take time to as much as they like it, they have to take time to adapt into the process of the new activities, and I myself have to adapt to the process of the new activity as well, such as how to motivate the class to join the game, how to explain the rules, how to explain the results to them, and it might cost time, and it will it may cause problems, as I don't want to make the class stay later than the time they're supposed to stay, and and yes, that's the problem. Like
Oh,
sometimes
that's
when we
very,
bring
very interesting
new
question.
yes new
That's very
activities every
interesting
day,
question.
is there any way to make sure that the class will stay in the scheduled time?
Yes, that's we need to respect our student, is that right?
Yes.
So please start the class on time, and please also end your lesson on time as well. So that's the first point you need to remember. Right?
Yes.
I myself, I also make the mistake that I can extend the class time or something, but I try to end the lesson on time so the student they have good preparation for their new class, for example, for their lunch or something. But that's very interesting question, Đặng Minh
Yes, thank you.
share with us, right? What do you think?
You are asking me?
No, not you. All the students here. What do you think? So first of all, I would like to hear from the student first. So what do you think, Minh Trang?
Yes, about his problem. I think
Yes.
that he can add some timer when the student do their activities. For example, if he give them a task of a group work, a presentation, a short presentation, he can add a timer of 15 minutes to 3 minutes, and when the student do their activity, they can focus on the time. And they know that if they run out of time or they have plenty of time, that they keep going on. And that's what I am doing for my students.
So because, for example, we sometimes enjoy the class time like we did this morning, right? We enjoy the discussion section.
Yes.
So we spend more time than usual. But as the teachers, the first thing you need to remember that we need to be a risk taker. Right?
Yes.
Risk taker. That's a very interesting point. When we work as teachers, that we need to be a risk taker. We need to take risks, and of course, we need to control the risk as well. Like that means we have to spend a lot of time helping our students to be familiar with the activities. So don't try many things at the same time. Many new tools for your student at the same time. You can just bring only one thing to the class, and you need good preparation for that as well. You need to take good preparation. New thing does not mean that you have to bring new activity or new Kahoot or new edu puzzle or bamboozle or many new things, right? So you yourself, you need to know the tools very well. But for the new tools of ICT, you have to consider very carefully, because sometimes some new tools, but they have the same characteristics, the same features. The first point that we need to be a risk taker. So that's the reason why we need to apply new things in our class. The second thing, we can control the activities by keeping an eye on the time. Is a right eyes on the time that we know exactly. We need to have very good planning as well, good planning. And that's the reason why we have lesson plan. And for lesson plan, we can have 1 minute for this, 2 minutes for that, 3 minutes for that. We often have the problem because we do not have the lesson plan with the details, or we do not have a very serious lesson plan. When we do the teaching, usually we use lesson plan for your teachers. For me, the teacher asks us to plan a lesson, or from the leader in the school, they ask us to submit the lesson plan, but we do not plan the lesson for ourselves. So we need to plan the lesson for ourselves as well. So we have to keep the time, and then even though we do not have a very formal lesson plan, but we must have a lesson plan every time we go to class. So we plan the lesson 3 minutes for that, 3 minutes for that, and we may have 5 minutes. So to back up thing, if thing goes not the way we plan. So planning is a way that you can avoid those problems. But we need to consider that when we bring new things, troubles can also come with new things. So we have to think about that. We have planned about that and avoid those troubles. So now we continue with our sharing. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points. So can you choose 1 point and share with me the idea? Right. So each of you can choose 1 point, any point here. We can choose get the semester off on the right foot or prevent cheating. You can choose 1 point, any point.
I'm sorry, Miss. We choose 1 point, and after that we try to discuss, right?
Yes, yes.
Ah, yes, okay, yes, I get the idea. Thanks a lot.
For example, if you choose handle students who participate too much, so what are you going to do with that? Right? Or you choose employ humor to create conditions conducive to learning. What are you going to do? So really, can you start?
Yes, because I'm so young. So I choose about employ humor to create conditions conducive to learning. Because I believe that in funny classrooms, maybe my student feel relaxed, and when my student feels relaxed, and they can get more motivation, and they can feel so free when try to discussing and try to engaging in the lessons. So yes, I agree. Yes, I totally believe that employee humor can get better result in classrooms, like in speaking classes, because some of my students, they say that, oh, Miss Lee, I feel so nervous, so I feel so bad before the speaking class. But when we trying to create a funny environment for students, they feel like relaxed, and they try to speak more, and they try to engage more in my classes. Yes.
Okay. So that means humor is the best medicine. Is that right? For teachers
No,
and for
not really,
students.
because sometimes when we spend a lot of time when sometimes when we focus too much on that, maybe the students they don't pay too much attention in the result of the classes.
Okay,
so I don't
thank
think
you.
that I don't think that we should pay too much attention in about creating humor environment. We have to
Okay.
control.
Yeah, thank you. So can you invite the next friend to share his or her point?
Yes, I believe that my friend that Mint can have some nice ideas.
Why you gotta do me like this? Thank you. Anyway, so conditioning
Where?
or learning.
Yes.
Yeah, you want me to talk about like
Any
each of the
the
points?
point. Yes.
Yes.
Which point you think that's useful for you?
I'm trying to help students. Condition. Well, I kind of agree to Lee that we should employ humor to the classroom. Yeah, in order to yeah, help people to enjoy working in the class. Also, I believe in the establishment of relationships with my students to know them better. For an example, like when I, when I ask them a question and after they answer, I try to relate that question to themselves. Like when I teach about can or can't, like the modal verbs, I try to ask them questions about their ability. Like, can you play a guitar? Can you drive a car? And to make them use that things for themselves, to use the target grammar for themselves, and at the same time I can know more about them. Yes, to
Yes,
get to
very
know
good.
them on a personal
That
level.
we can establish relationship with our students. Is that right?
Yes.
Ming, please tell me whether you have a girlfriend at the moment. I'm trying to establish a relationship with my students.
Yeah, well, that's kind of too personal kind of the establishment. Yes. However, I try to keep them on to focus on themselves, not like the relationships around them.
But I'm interested in knowing Ming.
Yes, for now, like I'm available.
Oh,
Available on the menu.
friends. Yeah. Phương Chi, Thúy Ly, he's available. Ming's available. What do you think, Chi?
She
Sorry, but I am not available now.
Okay. Sorry, Ming.
Yeah, that she
Thank you.
everybody passed out now.
So actually, that's the way we can establish a relationship with student. But in fact, here we can have it as humor, right? Not really that I'm wanted to know whether Ming has a girlfriend or not, but the way we build relationship with our students, we use funny expressions to ask about their life, about their interests, for example. Ming, thank you. Can you invite next friend?
Yeah, why not G, please. G, please.
Duy, yes.
No, G. I mean,
Yeah, I'm here.
Duy, right? G, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, I'm also interested in establishing relationship with my student.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, I don't have any big class. I just have the class of one or two students. So the relationship between us is very good. I often share with them about my daily life, and they also do that. And we have sometimes we have some camping teaching, like we go to the coffee shop to teach and to learn together. And and I think that's a good way for them to feel relaxed and to have the great ease with me, and they do not scare me at all, and they can feel free to ask me question to share with me anything about their problem, their difficulty, so that it's a very I think it's a really an advantage for me to conduct the class. Yeah, that's my idea.
So thank you. That she has brought her student to a coffee shop. Do you think that it's a good suggestion that we can go to the coffee shop for our offline meeting? Who agree? Raise your hand. Yeah, we have Z, right? Ngô Mi. And T also that Duy, please arrange the time that we can have a discussion section in a coffee shop. Do you think that is a good idea, Duy?
Yes, I think it depends on the type of the meeting. Yeah, if it's a formal meeting like what we are doing, yeah, it's not a good idea to meet in a coffee shop because of the noises, and maybe all the guests from the coffee shop may disturb and distract the meeting. But if it's an informal meeting like English speaking club, or you have some board game activities to practice English, yeah, I think a coffee shop is an ideal place for such informal meeting. Yes, that's my idea.
Okay, that Duy said that it's not a good idea to bring our class to a coffee shop. Yeah, so sorry that we could not have a class in a coffee shop because you said that it's not a good idea.
Yeah, but if the coffee shop has a private room, yeah, I think that's okay. Yeah.
So I read from the chat box, G has many boyfriends. Is that true, G? How many you have?
No, it's just a joke from Miss Lee. She always tell that about me, but no, I just have one.
Oh, you have one.
Yeah.
And how many in the waiting list?
One per day, right, G?
No, don't say that.
Okay, thank you. And here we also have user contract to help get students to accept responsibilities. What does that mean to you, Trung Hiếu?
Yes. Actually, based on this principle, I think that this kind of the old way of Vietnamese teacher, when they want to have students get accept the responsibility, like if you don't work hard or something like that, you will fail the course or something like that. That's all my thought.
So we need to have a contract with our students, is that right?
Yes.
Yes. For example, in our class, Hiếu cannot eat while studying. We have a contract. Our responsibility that each of you need to ask one question or need to give one contribution, for example. That's the way the student take responsibility. You have a contract that when you listen to the presentation, so you need to ask question, you need to give a contribution, for example.
Yes.
So how about this one, Mr. Hải Thủy? What do you think?
Yes, I think one of the best way to handle students who participate too much is encouraging him or her to participate more.
Oh yeah, but
Because
it's important to share, right?
Yeah, because this is a good signal to learn. Yeah. We encourage rather
we
than
encourage them, and we ask them to share with others students. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. To share
because
with shy students, for example,
yes, because
neglected students also, so they
yeah,
take more responsibilities.
yes.
Okay, thank you. So now please type the answer in Padlet. What teaching techniques, activities did you find the most effective in your class? Yeah, I give you 5 minutes. What teaching techniques, activities did you find the most effective in your class? In Padlet. Some techniques that your friends usually use in their class and they find these techniques the most effective. Give me a summary, please. Hoàng Yến.
Yes, I'm here.
What are the most effective techniques used by your friends?
When I have a look at my classmates' answers, I guess they focused on the games and the group work activities. And besides that, some of them suggest to give the bonus for the students when they participate or engage positively into the classroom activities. Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Ian.
Yes.
And now we continue with we'll find someone. Ngọc Diễm.
Yes.
So what do you mean by yes, Diễm?
Yeah, so I am looking in the palette. I see that my classmate suggest a lot about gamification.
Yeah.
And okay, and I also agree with them about the time for playing game in class. I think a student can review the lesson when they playing game, and they can also work in groups or work in pair when playing game. Is Besides that, they can relax. They can have time for relaxing after some, I think, some serious lesson content. And I think is that the gamification is the most effective technique.
Yes. So that the student love to have games, is that right? But you know that for games, we also have learning theory, learning techniques or teaching techniques for game. For example, Quizy. What is it for? Kahoot. What is it for? Right? They enjoy the game or enjoy the information in the game format.
Miss, you asking me, right?
Yeah.
Yes, okay, I'm here. Because you know that about assessment. Yes, okay, I'm trying to create some funny assessment for my students because they don't like something like Google Forms, you know. Yes, they hate Google Forms. And also I create the information or create the assessment into Quizy or sometimes Kahoot. So they really enjoy it because they can see their name in the ranking list and they feel like I'm baiting. Yes, I'm fighting others, and they feel motivated. Yes, and they enjoy that.
So here that means we have interaction in Kahoot.
Yes.
Is that right? Yeah,
Yes,
we have
yes.
interaction in Kahoot.
Yes.
We have
They-
quizzes, not just like Google form, and they have the correct answer there.
Yes, yes. They can see the ranking list and they can see that, oh, yes, I'm fighting others, and they enjoy it.
And they're climbing.
Yes,
Right?
because
Climbing there.
I'm the winner.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. So we have motivation in ELT, as mentioned by your friends a lot here. So we go through some theories of motivation. For example, we have expectancy value theory, we have self-efficacy theory, we have attribution theory, and self-determination theory. And you see the activities we use to motivate our students belong to expectancy value theory or self-efficacy theory or attribution theory or self-determination theory, right? So can you guess expectancy value theory? What does that mean? Really, can you choose a friend for me?